Avatar: The Way of Water is out in theaters now, and I thought it'd be fun to do a spoiler review I haven't done. Consciousness have been uploaded into this new body, but what's interesting is that it's the memories and consciousness of Courage right before he goes into the final battle in Avatar the first movie, and so he doesn't remember how he died, which is really fun because you get to watch him discover that he finds his own body, picks up his old human skull, crushes it. Cameron does a really great visual storytelling trick throughout the movie where he recognizes the arrows that killed him and he identifies them with Neytiri, and so whenever Neytiri attacks he knows that's her, that's the person who killed me. It's a really fun way of building a grudge match between these two. Jake Sully as a character has changed quite a bit. He's a father now, he has many kids, and he's no longer this grunt who would prefer to be one of the Na'vi as he was in the first film, sort of obsessed with being a daredevil, and this time around he's more of the grounded father. He wants to protect all of his kids and he's very stern with him. He's afraid whenever they venture out too far, which is one of my favorite things about the ending of the movie. The kids saving the parents go through all of this struggle to make sure their kids have a safe and happy life, and at the end of the day the kids are the ones who save the parents, and it sort of reflects life. When you have kids you realize over and over again every day that it's the best thing that ever happened to you, and those kids metaphorically save your life every single day. And when you get older and your kids care for you, they're saving your life then too, and so it's this really kind of beautiful relationship between real life and these blue Na'vi guys running around shooting people, and I thought it was really special. But where this movie really hit me in the grit is the way Cameron explores humans attacking the ocean, hunting whales, in this case the Pandora version of a whale. His name is Payakan, and yes, I definitely thought of Payakan from Dragon Ball Z. How could you not? I mentioned in my original review that there is a scene where I was just in, and it's when all of those guys go out and hunt and kill one of those whales and the baby calf. It's so devastating, it's like emotionally traumatizing, and the shot of the whale next to its dead infant with its eyeball rolled all the way into the back of its head was actually really disturbing, one of the more impactful images of the whole year. And Kate Winslet's character just screaming and crying right in front of that scene sells the emotional weight of the rest of the movie. It's so important that you feel for these people and this relationship that's been shattered, and you understand the importance of it to them so that you can care during the final battle. Speaking of that final battle, though, the sea people kind of vanish, they kind of go to the background for a lot of that battle. I was sort of looking around like, okay, there they are there, oh they're kind of gone, where'd they go? Alright, they're kind of doing something over there, that's fine. There wasn't quite enough of them, like especially since it was so important and it was the ocean, and this was like an attack on their family basically. And even though Jake and Neytiri's family are also being held hostage, they just felt like they became background characters as soon as the charge happened. The new rare item that they're mining from the whale's brain, it was kind of a throwaway scene, and I think both films kind of do the same thing. They pick like a random object, a mineral fluid, and they say this is why we're going to destroy the forest, this is why we're going to destroy the oceans, and Cameron doesn't care so much about that object as the point that he's trying to make, which is humanity is destroying this planet and it should stop, because he's so good at making that point. I'm willing to overlook the fact that this new fluid that apparently stops human aging is just introduced in one scene and never talked about again, but on second viewing I found the entire third act even more thrilling than the first time, and I think it was because I was anticipating all these great moments, like when Payakan jumps out of the ocean and slams down onto that ship and just starts batting away These everything with that whale was great, or when he deflects the missile. Like there are so many moments in the last 30 to 40 minutes of this movie that are just absolutely white knuckled in every sense of the word, and all the character work with Jake and the Terry and their kids pays off in the end as well, with the death of their oldest son and this rampage that Neytiri goes on that ship afterwards. What I loved about that absolute massacre is that you never see Neytiri in a close-up until the very end of it. For the whole assault on that ship she is a silhouette, a shadow. You just hear these screams and these grunts, and she's jumping and flipping and she's shooting arrows into people all over the place, and it's so intense until the very end of that scene where she kills the last guy. She screams in his face in this close-up, and I thought it was a really great use of restraint on Cameron's part, and I thought that it added so much weight to that moment. As I mentioned in my original review, one of the things about the film that I thought could have been better was the screenplay's usage of this character Spider. This is by no means a slight on the actor Jack Champion, who I think is very good in the movie, but the character felt more complex to me than the screenplay was allowing him to be when he's taken captive by Blue Stephen Lang. We learned that original Stephen Lang is actually this kid's father, and he hates what his father did, and he recognizes that the Na'vi also hate what his father did. He doesn't want to have anything to do with him, but there's also scenes where they're kind of having fun and he's teaching his father the Na'vi language and how to say it properly, but then there's also scenes where he witnesses his father burn down an entire village and threaten to murder people who are innocent, and he's trying to get them to stop. There's also scenes where he jams the controls of the ship with a fire extinguisher and attacks other men on the ship, and at the end of the film Neytiri puts a knife to Spider's neck and threatens to kill him if Stephen Lang doesn't back off, and there was also no repercussions for that either. At the end of the film I kind of expected to see Spider look at Neytiri and for them to have a moment like holy, that almost happened. What does that mean for us? But we don't get that moment. It's denied us, and eventually Spider saves his father, and I just didn't feel like the screenplay earned that choice because he witnessed his father do so many atrocious things, and the best the screenplay gave us was that in a moment where Neytiri was about to kill him, Stephen Lang was like, no, don't do it, and perhaps in that moment Spider looked at his father and said, oh my God, he really does love me, and that was enough on the page. It didn't feel like it was enough in the film, but I am very excited to see how Avatar 3 handles the complex relationship that has now been established with Spider and his dad. Especially if all the Na'vi think that Korg is now dead for real and Spider has to say, well actually no, I pulled him out of the wreckage of that ship. That would create a lot of tension with all these characters and challenge them to figure out what their family dynamics are like now, or if they even are a family. And I think what could happen with Spider and his father is way more interesting right now than what happened in this movie. But yeah, I mean, seeing it a second time, I had a blast with it. I thought it was so entertaining again. Visually dazzling, even better in IMAX 3D. Every underwater sequence is breathtaking, and just like the first film when they decimate the forest right around the halfway point, you just want to see that resolved and you are on board. And I really enjoyed Avatar The Way of Water. Let me know what you thought about the movie down below. If you like this